everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, we're at Farmington Dragway in Mocksville, North Carolina, and Jaguar's given us yet another opportunity to check out the F-Type. This is a 2016 R Coupe, and this year all-wheel drive now comes standard, so it's going to be pretty interesting to kind of compare and contrast. This one also features the optional carbon ceramic brakes, which I've never driven a car with carbon ceramic brakes, so this is going to be really exciting. A lot of you guys know of our new partnership with Farmington Dragway. We put up an update video not too long ago, but this is the first car we're actually taking here. We're going to bring select high-performance vehicles and stuff, not everything, but where it really matters, of course. We can experience these cars fully on a track. It's going to be amazing and something I've been wanting to do for such a long time. I hope you guys enjoy. As always, this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the F-Type R. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, go over the performance data, take it on a thorough road test and track drive, not to mention show you many of the unique aspects of both the interior as well as exterior. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start it up, let it run. A remote smart key access system comes standard with flush-mounted door handles. To unlock, just tap the little button and pull open the handle. To lock it back, just push it flat with the body. The mirrors automatically fold in for tighter parking spaces, and you have some LED illumination underneath. Our tester's finished in glacier white with an interior that combines jet black leather and Alcantara with Cirrus white contrast stitching. To start, just make sure you have the key fob within the interior, put your foot on the brake, then hit the console mounted button to go. One of the biggest changes for 2016 was the adoption of electrically assisted rack and pinion steering for all F-types. Unlike previous hydraulic systems which ran off the engine, EPS only requires energy when assistance is needed, therefore decreasing emissions and improving powertrain efficiency. As with the F-Type S we recently tested, it's one of the best EPS setups I've driven to date. There's so much feel and feedback dialed in that it very well could offer as much or more of a connected feel than previous F-Types. Through the corners, its extremely precise and direct behavior is complemented by nicely weighted steering, feeling balanced with the car's inherently stiff structure. Engineers also increased the torsional stiffness of the steering column's intermediate shaft to ensure on-center feel was on par for a Jaguar sports car. A 3-spoke multifunction sport steering wheel is standard, while the flat-bottom design is a no-cost option that also adds prominent grip bolsters at 10 and 2. It's wrapped in high-grade leather and highlighted by satin gray and gloss black trim with the R logo in the bottom spoke. Aside from all-wheel drive now being standard for the F-Type R and an option for the F-Type S, V6 rear-wheel drive cars now have the option of a 6-speed manual transmission, completely altering the car's behavior to make it more engaging and entertaining for driving enthusiasts. Click the link in the top right-hand corner of this video if you want to learn more about its design and my impressions out on the road. The F-Type R, however, continues with the 8-speed ZF Quick Shift Automatic as the only transmission available, paired with an electronic active rear differential with torque vectoring. It's been uniquely calibrated for Jaguar and features adaptive software that enhances the car's dynamism, whether it's holding gears through turns and quick maneuvers or rev-matching throttle blips on downshifts in dynamic mode. The most fun, of course, is extracted by shifting it manually, either via the electronic gear selector or by the steering wheel paddles. It's capable of delivering shifts quick enough to rival many dual-clutch transmissions. Jaguar claims the all-wheel drive system is primarily rear-biased and in normal driving actually transfers 100% of the torque to the rear. It only transfers torque to the front when needed. All I know is that this car has a ridiculous amount of grip. Power is sent to the ground almost instantaneously, launching the car forward with extreme assertion with little to no hint of wheel spin. To the left is a little toggle switch that controls your 3 driving modes. Placing the car into dynamic mode, indicated by the checkered flag, sharpens throttle response, increases steering effort, raises the shift points, and decreases the shift times with the automatic. It also opens up the exhaust, firms up the suspension, activates red interior ambient lighting, and changes the speedometer color from white to red. In addition to the normal mode, it's also a winter low traction mode that places a priority on traction over performance. In the center console, you have an electronic parking brake and 4 other buttons that correspond to your traction control, dual mode exhaust, the auto start stop feature, and your rear spoiler. The spoiler is automatic and comes up around 60 miles an hour or so. It comes back down around 40 miles an hour. The dual mode exhaust automatically activates when you put it into dynamic mode, otherwise it can be controlled independently via that button. We'll go over all of the sound clips and stuff a little later in the video. So let's go ahead and flip on the automatic LED accented bifunction HID headlamps, rear fog lamps, and the hazards. Both windows are fully automatic. And we'll go ahead and check out the exterior. Jaguar first launched the all-new F-Type for the 2014 model year. At first, it was only available as a convertible, followed by the Coupe's introduction in 2015. The F-Type is the brand's first true sports car in nearly 40 years, designed to replace the XK line as a more engaging and dynamic product. Representing the spiritual successor to the iconic E-Type, the F-Type is an aluminum-bodied 2-seater available with your choice of supercharged V6 or V8 power plants. For 2016, Jaguar continues with the F-Type, F-Type S, and F-Type R, but the V8S is no longer available. The 3 biggest changes to the lineup this year include the adoption of electric power steering, the option of a 6-speed manual in V6 cars, and standard all-wheel drive for the R Coupe and convertible. All-wheel drive is also available for the F-Type S when paired with the automatic transmission. As I mentioned, Jaguar claims that it transfers power to the front only when necessary to enhance performance and handling. Otherwise, 100% of the power is sent to the rear to preserve the core driving dynamics of a rear-wheel drive vehicle. Opting for all-wheel drive adds unique styling touches to the clamshell hood, including unique vents and a deeper central power bulge. Unique wheels are added as well unless you specify our tester's carbon ceramic brakes. Originally designed to compete against the Porsche 911, I think the F-Type offers something different, not unlike what Mercedes-AMG has created with the GTS. In comparison, the Jaguar is priced more affordably, especially with V6 models. Following an iconic line of sports cars from the C and D-Type racers of the 1950s to the elegant E-Type, the F-Type embodies its heritage of subtle classic styling traits while paving the way to a bold new direction in driver-focused Jaguar performance. Aerodynamics also played a key role in the F-Type's design. It's fresh and modern with a nice blend of sensuous curves and sharp-edged attitude lines. It's one of my favorite designs next to the GTS for the simple fact that it's so unmistakably Jaguar, distinct and different. The Coupe adds a timeless factor somewhat reminiscent to an E-Type with its slant-back roofline. A lower front splitter helps channel air to the rear diffuser, creating a suction effect underneath the car to increase downforce at speed. Sharp projections at the splitter's edge give the appearance of sharp teeth like a wild cat ready to pounce. More large intakes to either side of the fascia and underneath help channel air to the engine and brakes. On the R, you'll also find a red Jaguar medallion and R badge amongst a black mesh grille. Heat extractors on the hood and vents on the fenders help further aid in cooling. In the rear, F-Type's clean lines are uninterrupted by spoilers or swept-up deck lids. Instead, there's a flush-mounted spoiler that automatically rises between 60 and 70 miles an hour, adding about 264 pounds of downforce over the rear wheels. Easiest way to tell a V6 from a V8 is from the exhaust outlets. Standard on the V6 are center-mounted dual exhausts that harken back to the days of the E-Type. V8 models get standard quad pipes with 2 located at either corner. Bifunction HID headlamps and LED tail lamps are standard, while our tester's adaptive lights are optional. The F-Type structure is composed primarily of forged aluminum that's epoxy bonded, riveted, and cloaked in aluminum panels. The rear hatch is made from composite material to allow for hidden antennas to receive GPS and radio signals. The new alloys allow for more precise and accurate molds to enhance fit and finish. One example is the chiseled hood, which is made from a single stamping. Along with the chassis, the front and rear subframes are also made of aluminum, helping make it one of the stiffest Jaguars ever produced. The F-Type is short and wide with a low center of gravity. The total aluminum package is about 77 pounds lighter than a comparable structure made of steel. On the Coupe, a single uninterrupted silhouette runs from the A-pillar to the flowing C-pillar before tapering off at the rear. The majority of the Coupe's extra torsional rigidity comes from that continuous structure, making it 80% stiffer than the convertible. A nice touch are the seemingly endless ways you can customize the vehicle inside and out, including the design pack, black pack, carbon fiber extras such as our tester's carbon roof, and much more. Standard on the R is your choice of a variety of 20-inch wheel options. Our tester is the optional asymmetric Storm-style forged aluminum alloy wheels finished in black with diamond-turned accents. Measuring 9 inches wide in front and 10.5 inches wide in the rear, these wheels come with the optional high-performance carbon ceramic matrix braking system, featuring signature yellow calipers. The tires are sticky, high-performance Pirelli P0 summer tires that measure 255/35 in front and wider 295/30s in the rear. Jaguar offers 4 different braking systems to the F-Type, the standard 3 being the performance, high performance, and super performance setups. The 4th are these optional carbon ceramic brakes, representing the largest, most powerful braking system ever fitted to a Jaguar. They provide greater resistance to fade and wear while reducing unsprung mass by 46 pounds, all at a cost of $12,000. The super performance brakes are standard on the R, featuring internally ventilated 15-inch rotors in front and 14.8-inch rotors in the rear, to be able to bring the car to a stop from 60 miles an hour in about 106 feet. The carbon ceramic units measure approximately 15.7 inches in front with 6-piston monoblock calipers and 15 inches in the rear with 4-piston calipers, stopping from 60 in about 100 feet. While Jaguar claims the super performance brakes are designed to have near perfect proportion of deceleration with applied pressure, the carbon ceramics are ideal for people wanting to head out for the occasional track day. They absolutely stop on a dime and seem to perform even better once they're warmed up a bit. The suspension consists of aluminum double wishbones front and rear with self-adjusting 2-mode dampers, a part of a highly tuned version of Jaguar's adaptive dynamic system. Sensors placed around the body track motion and pitch rates up to 100 times per second, adjusting control, agility, and more based on road conditions or driver demands. There's even a system that monitors the steering 500 times per second, predicting the car's roll rate and sending that data to the dampers to maintain a flat profile through the curves. It rides surprisingly good considering its stiff structure. The R features an active differential that utilizes a multi-plate clutch to divide the torque between the rear wheels to the one with the most traction. With the electronic diff, there's also a torque vectoring system that applies the brakes to the inside rear wheel, while sending more power to the outer wheel when traveling through a corner, increasing control and sharpness by balancing between under and oversteer. Overall length is 176 inches with a width excluding the mirrors of 75.7 inches and a height of 52 inches. Wheelbase is 103.2 inches and a curb weight for our all-wheel drive tester is around 3,813 pounds. For the 2016 model year, the F-Type is available with 2 all-aluminum supercharged engines, a 3-liter V6 and a 5-liter V8. The V6 is standard, developing 340 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. The F-Type S I drove recently benefited from more power to the tune of 380 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque. If you want the V8, you'll have to spring for the range-topping F-Type R as we have here, as the slightly less powerful V8S is no longer offered. It features dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, direct fuel injection, and dual independent variable valve timing. The compression ratio is rated at 9.5 to 1 with a 6,600 RPM redline. The Roots Type Twin Vortex supercharger is nestled between the cylinder banks, fed by twin intercoolers, and helps deliver a massive 550 horsepower at 6,500 RPM and 502 pound-feet of torque at 3,500 RPM. Compared to the 510 horsepower V8S, the R benefits from an optimized Bosch engine management system and a retuned electronic bypass valve for the supercharger. This increases the maximum boost pressure from 9.1 psi to 10.1 psi. With the all-wheel drive system, the F-Type R can hit 60 miles an hour in a brisk 3.9 seconds and accelerate to a top speed of 186 miles an hour. That's a few tenths of a second quicker than the rear-wheel drive model. Compared to the V6, the V8 is an entirely different animal, not only from a performance standpoint, but how it sounds. The dual-mode exhaust keeps things quiet if you want to, but the car sounds so good and so raw under hard acceleration, it's hard not to leave it open constantly, especially on cold starts. It's pretty obvious, but this thing is brutally fast. It throws you into the seat on hard launches and keeps you there, all while delivering rapid gear changes without notable interruptions in power. As far as fuel economy, with a 19-gallon fuel tank and required premium gas, expect a miles per gallon rating between 16 city and 23 on the highway. There's even a standard auto start-stop feature that's said to improve fuel economy by about 5% when activated. The interior of the F-Type displays some of the best in Jaguar craftsmanship, with materials ranging from a variety of leathers, aluminum, black piano veneer, and Alcantara. It feels refined, comfortable, and very well put together. For those looking for the personal touch, there's plenty of customization options from trim packages to colors and features. Our tester includes the suede cloth pack that features a combination of leather and suede microfiber with contrast twin needle stitching. Dark technical weave aluminum trim is added with the flat bottom steering wheel and highlights portions of the center stack with the R logo branded above the infotainment system. The doors, as expected, are entirely padded. Your power windows and power mirrors are adjacent to the grip bar. The F-Type R also comes standard with the otherwise optional performance seats, a design borrowed from the XKRS. There are more aggressive bucket seats that feature very defined bolsters, fixed headrests, and even vestigial racing harness ports. The attention to detail throughout the interior is fantastic and is just further highlighted by that white accent stitching. The seats themselves do a great job hugging your body while providing appropriate padding for longer-term comfort. The bolsters are fully adjustable to hug or relax for a variety of body types. All of your power adjustments, including lumbar, are located on the door panels. During my F-Type S review, I started to make a brief comparison between this and the Mercedes-AMG GTS. I've had the fortune of experiencing both cars on quite an in-depth level. I mean, we tested out the GTS earlier this summer, and I had some initial track exposure last December, and we've driven a bunch of F-Types, including a lot of testing of this F-Type R. You know, it's really hard for me to choose which vehicle I prefer because they're both so awesome in their own right. They follow a similar formula. I mean, the two-seater tight-knit cabin is very driver-focused, a lot of aluminum construction here and there, and they both have V8s. The biggest difference being that the GTS, at least at this point, is rear-wheel drive, while the F-Type R in our market is now only offered in all-wheel drive, so whether that be a benefit or a hindrance is totally up to you and your driving style. But the Jaguar is supercharged, has a conventional automatic, the GTS is twin turbocharged, and has a dual clutch transmission. The Jaguar seems to offer more bang for your buck, it definitely offers more horsepower and torque, and depending on how equipped, I mean loaded out like this particular example, is still about $7,000 cheaper than an entry model GTS. So if you're looking to get something like this on a little bit more of a budget relatively speaking, the F-Type might be right up your alley, especially if you like the extra rawness from the engine and exhaust. The Mercedes has a more advanced infotainment system, but those little details can be so overlooked because at the end of the day, this thing is all about fun. This was one of the most fun cars that I've tested this year. I mean, the sound, the feel, the premium elements, it's just a fantastic package overall. So let's go ahead and see how it sounds, both sitting still and on the road. We'll also do a quick comparison between the more stealth mode and fully open and dynamic. I've already done some in-depth coverage with the F-Type's interior with my F-Type S review, so if you want to check that out, click the link in the top right hand corner of the video. I love the interior layout. It's very simple, again good build quality, there's a dual zone climate control system, and in the center console you have decent storage well with all of your media inputs and metallic lined cup holders. Of course, easily one of the coolest interior elements are the vents that rise up out of the dash when you turn on the air conditioning system. The standard audio system is a Meridian 7.1 channel surround sound system with tri-field technology packing 12 speakers, 16 amplifier channels, and 770 watts of total power. It's routed through an updated version of Jaguar's InTouch infotainment system, combining an 8-inch capacitive touch LCD touchscreen display with navigation, satellite radio, and hands-free Bluetooth telephone. This system is pretty self-explanatory overall. I definitely like the updated features. There's buttons to either side for the main system functions, and everything within the system is clearly labeled and easy to understand. I also found the dynamic ICE system to be pretty cool, and this was also in the F-Type S that I tested out. You can adjust various performance parameters, bring up a lap timer, a lateral G-force meter, as well as like the pressure on the gas pedal and brake, so there's some interactive menus and stuff that you can have fun with and play around, especially on a track. So let's go ahead and shut her down. Now let's go ahead and check out cargo space out back. Out back, the F-Type R comes standard with a fully powered hatch. It's not a very heavy hatch by any means, but this feature is otherwise optional in the normal F-Types for added convenience. Inside, you'll have around 11.1 cubic feet of cargo, but if you remove that privacy cover that's attached to the hatch, it expands out to about 14.4 cubic feet. You can also pull up the trunk floor to reveal a bit of extra storage space underneath, and it also gains you access to the vehicle's battery and the tire repair kit. Your windshield washer fluid reservoir is also located at the back. Also in the trunk, you'll find some cargo tie-downs, a first aid kit, plenty of LED illumination, and 2 straps which I believe are supposed to be used to hold an umbrella. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the 2016 Jaguar F-Type R Coupe. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.